Let me guess, you from the town that I love best. Talk Memphis, I wish you would. Talk Memphis, you sound so good.
Let's talk about, Dan, this last segment here, what we learned in 2018.
Man.
It's been an interesting year. We've got one more show that we're going to do this year before the holidays, and then we're going to, I guess I can announce that, we're going to rerun the zip code showdown, I think is what we called it, where I gave you guys different variations of our zip codes and what to expect in some of those. So in the next coming weeks, be sure to tune into that. But give a note. What did you learn in 2018?
Man, I was watching the Clemson game Saturday.
Big
shout
Clemson
out.
honk,
But so that's where I get my juices flowing. And I was like, man, as I tell people about the radio show, one thing I always talk about is like, we do this to teach people what not to do.
Right.
And what to do. You know what I mean? Like, where do we mess up? And so I was like, man, I learned a ton in 2018. I was like, we always think we've, if you ever think you arrived, you're wrong.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? Like,
That's right.
So, I mean, I've got 10 that just stick out to me. But one of the biggest ones I put is that, should not ever become emotionally attached to a property or properties. That you should all, and part of that you should always be buying and you should always be selling.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing lesson I learned. For 16 years, I didn't sell a thing. And I think that was a mistake. Looking back and reflecting and saying, I should have sold. There were several that I should have sold years and years ago that I just couldn't make work. You know what I mean? Like, I tried everything.
You're just hanging on to it.
Just hanging on to it because I bought it at a good price and felt like it was a great deal.
Is that a pride thing, or is it just, hey, man, I don't want to get rid of this?
I think it's pride. Pride or feel like I'm losing or figure I'm going backwards. If my wealth creation is going back by $50,000 by selling a house, but in reality is your cash flow was what was affecting us. I mean, it was going backwards, because we were having these dogs, of houses that we just need to get to offload. So
with a portfolio of y'all's size, you're going to have some properties that are underperforming or not performing as well.
You're always going to, everybody. And I mean, if you get, 10 plus, if you have 10 houses, so just for an example, there's going to be one dog every year in that portfolio. You just got to decide, is that just 1 year that it's a dog, or is it a consistent dog?
There's something about it.
Is there something about it? Is it just the block? Is it
which in Memphis, it can be just the block.
That's right. So that's probably one of my biggest ones, was just learning that I should have acted quicker, but now we've got a system in place to watch our assets. We're hiring somebody to oversee our portfolio to make sure that, we always watch every month which houses are performing and not performing, and just we'll have to remove them if they're not. So that's one of my key learnings. How about you?
I got off the hump this year.
Okay.
I'd owned prior, but I really got aggressive this year and really decided
to get in the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd owned it like in 17, I owned in 16, but not like I have now.
Yeah.
And I'd made the decision to stop tiptoeing in the shallow end and get aggressive and add to my portfolio. So next year I'm going to get even more aggressive. But one thing I have learned is that Memphis is trying to think of the right words here. Memphis is a super, super hot, desirable place.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I knew. I knew Memphis was but ever since we've kicked our brokerage into high gear with the marketing and accepting so many new clients that we've worked with, there was a while we weren't accepting new clients. So now that we've really began to take in new clients and work with them specifically on Memphis, and now I guess and Jackson, I've learned so much from other markets. So an investor will call in and be like, "Hey, this is what I'm finding in New York, or this is what I'm finding in Cleveland, and we can't get that there, so we're coming to Memphis." So I've really learned that it's not just something that we're standing here talking about that we're selling you guys. Memphis is legit from a national, global investment landing spot. So I've learned, I've taken myself, I'm really good, I feel like at taking myself outside of the box and this is your saying, but looking at it from 30,000 feet, and I've really begun to respect Memphis more from what the city is. I've learned a whole lot from doing this show with you. You're involved in so many of the community development, programs and different things. I mean, so I've learned that there's way more to Memphis than just what I knew before. I've been in real estate a long time, but if you get into that lane and in your bubble, I mean, it's, and you don't get out of it, you don't learn a whole lot more. Well, man, I've really learned
your horizons
a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I just know what other cities are doing and what to expect and what we're getting here.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I've learned. I've just, I get up here in front of this microphone, and I get on the phone at work, and behind my keyboard, and I talk about, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Let's get aggressive, get off the fence. And I've really taken that to heart this year myself, and really pushed my personal, portfolio. And I'm looking forward to doing that again in 19. What about you? What else have you learned from 18?
One of the things that I learned is, and this can be an interesting one for me, is just don't try to be all things to all people. Kind of, you were talking about picking your lane. Pick your lane, get really good at it. Mm-hmm. Every time you make an exception, you set yourself up for failure. And so, like we have people that are flippers, we have people that are wholesalers. Every time you create a process, and every time you try to go out of that process, you're creating an opportunity to fail. And so, I've turned down more business this year and turned away more things, and I'm not a no guy.
Yeah.
And so I've had to learn to say no. And know that I will be stronger, our team will be stronger, be less frustrated, more profitable from that. An example of that, yesterday I had somebody wanting a 200 house or 200 apartment manager, and I referred them to a friend of mine because we're just not ready for that right now. Yeah. It's just not our lane.
It's way different than...
It's just way different. There's an apartment community and all that stuff, and we can do it, and we could probably stumble through it, but we're just not ready. We're focused on some other stuff that takes more attention. You don't want to, it's like the shotgun approach. You don't want to have that shotgun approach. You want to have a rifle approach.
Yeah.
And then just stuff like having, clients that do their own maintenance. That's been a big one for me this year. Like when you do that, if you look at the email trails and stuff like that, those guys email you the most, are frustrated the most. Our team's frustrated the most because you can't keep up with who's doing what versus we got a machine that we've created to handle processes from start to finish. And if you're not in that,
it's tough.
And
you battle that because you just said it. You're a yes guy. I want
to help. I want to help somebody win. I want to help somebody succeed. But I realized that I'm not. So that's the key learning for me is like, I'm not doing that. I'm actually setting both of us up for a very frustrating experience. And it's not fair to the client or a friend. It's not fair to us and my team. So that's probably a big one. So,
it goes along with rather have smaller portfolio clients they're following our system. And it's not like we run any kind of odd or different system. I mean, we run a pretty standard system, but the fact of the matter is there are investors that want to run their own system. And I agree with you just from this side of the fence, you guys own the company. You guys, make those big decisions. But when we allow somebody to come in and kind of dictate their own, the a la carte, so to speak, where they can they'll use this service of ours, but not this one and not this one. It throws a whole kink in the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, and then if you think about even on your side, people that are trying to not pay your fees or not understand why your process,
they're the worst on me.
They're the hardest from that point on. Yeah. If you give in and not stick to what your process and how you do things, it is a struggle all the way through rehab, property management, the whole gamut. So,
and it's not a personal flaw in them. It's just that investors got their own certain ways, and I respect that.
Yep.
But at the same time, I hope they respect the us not taking that business and work because to not set them up for this. I've even told the guys like, hey man, if you don't understand the fees that we charge, which are not outrageous, but if you don't understand the fees the brokerage charges, then you're certainly not going to understand it after you've paid them 10 times. If we're buying 10 houses or 12 houses, if you don't like it on the first one,
you're certainly not going to like it on the 10th one.
And, they always say this, but I'm going to buy 25 houses. Well, that's all the more reason why we've got to fall right in this line. If you were coming in,
that was a key learning
in
2016.
It was a huge key learning for me.
How many people say they're going to buy 50 houses and buy one?
Buy one.
Yeah. Or zero.
Or nothing. I
had a guy last week. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
I looked at my email and I was like, man, I know this name. And I looked and I was like, no, we talked last December.
Oh yeah, you told me that. I had somebody come back to me today from last year trying to sell some stuff. So I mean, you got to fall right in the program, and it's not necessarily that we don't want to work with you. It's just that
you want win-wins.
You said it best. You're setting by accepting an investor that doesn't want to fall into our program or fall into the system. You're setting him up to not succeed, and you're setting us up to fail. Mm-hmm. It's a whole, a friction that we're causing right off the bat, and we haven't even done anything.
Life's too short. I think that. I mean, so if you're an agent out there, if you're wholesale, all that it applies to. It's not just our business. I'm talking about just you pick a lane and pick your process. You're a flipper.
Yeah.
Work with the subs that are that you can that will follow your process that you want to want to succeed with. Don't go outside of that. So anyway, what else did you learn?
I learned that we have a really, really good company. I learned that the people that work in our office are extremely dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
We've made some transition from a lot of bodies in our office to fewer bodies and more help for those bodies that are there. I feel like we are able to stretch out further. I think it's helped us go to Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think from a CrestCore Realty standpoint, I've learned that it's not always the masses that can help you the most. It's the right people, that can come in and help you. So
throwing bodies is not an answer.
Throwing bodies at a problem
answer.
at your job is not the answer.
No.
I've learned that.
You find some key hires, and that makes the world a difference.
And that makes the world a difference. So yeah, I've learned that, and I've learned that our market is really good. It's really desirable. We've sold a lot of homes this year, Dan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something I take a whole lot of pride in. But yeah, we've really pushed the limit on how many investors we've been able to help this year.
I'll tell you one that's I was challenged on by a mentor at church actually, is to take Sundays off, and don't I learned. It was at a meeting on Sunday night, and we were talking about being good examples, and he said he doesn't email his staff on Sunday, and I asked him to explain that a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I just don't do it. I put notes, and I'll email him first thing Monday, whatever, and he's seeing no difference in his productivity, and I was laughing. I was like, man, I emailed my staff at 8:15 on the way out to church, tell my kids, wait a second in the car, I'll be right there, because I had my thought, I want to get it to the team. What you don't realize was that's distracting somebody else's time of family time and quiet time and whatever they're going to do on Sunday. And so that was a big one for me. I stopped about 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do emails on Sunday for, it's an absolute. There's a couple that trickle through here and there, but as a general rule, I used to probably send 20 plus emails on a Sunday. And
is that because your mind's gearing up for Monday morning?
Yeah, just, ideas, or I look at reports and see stuff that's, valuable. So what I did actually has helped me is I use a thing called Boomerang.
Yeah.
It's a software that you can add to your Gmail or your Outlook, and I can actually create that email and tell it when to send it, which is beautiful. So I can actually get it off my head. I wanted to get it off my head, so I got it off my head. I put it in kind of a draft. Instead of putting it in draft, it just sits there in holding pattern and sends it. You can send it 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
What's that called?
Boomerang. That's a good little tool for the audience. But I think what I've seen is there's been no slowdown, and I've had more time to reflect. I actually think about bigger ideas, think about solving bigger problems on Sunday, because I'm not focused on the email and the rat race,
Kids and wife love it too.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm there for them more. I can focus on playing with them and doing family stuff, and really truly use Sunday for reflection and family time. And I loved, and if I think back about it, Truett Cathy, who owned Chick-fil-A, his family's still part of it.
Yeah.
Somebody really hard was attacking him about why not open on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, I already make $5 billion.
What do I need another?
What I need another billion for? On his revenue side. I mean, he doesn't make 5, but he makes a percentage of that $5 billion by not doing anything. Just having this company. And that's always stuck with me that he stuck to his.
I have found it amazing that they have stuck with that.
Yep, they will not. I don't see that changing anytime soon. So.
No, I don't think they'll ever come out of that.
No. What else about you? What else?
I'm learning that this radio show is powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that because we don't come on here and pump ourselves the entire show.
Mm.
I say that because I'm, Douglas and I were at lunch last week. For the first time, I had somebody look at me and be like, "You snapping his fingers." He pulls up his iPhone and he showed me the show from that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I was like, yeah. So it's a good tool that we're providing. It's the way we've done it, and our approach has been what you said. We're trying to provide content and information about our city. We're not on here promoting CrestCore Realty all day long. Today we've used a little bit of that just to tell you about Jackson, Tennessee, but
and again, hopefully people take that as like, it's just an opportunity. We are saying that's for us to grow, but it's really for our clients to grow. That's what the ultimate purpose is to help them grow and create a value-added product. So
I swear I can't get enough.